for women at the expense of learning. Today, we have a number of graduates, especially women who are at the age of 30, 40, without husband. It is because people actually are scared of marrying them. Why? Because medically today, it has been confirmed that any woman above 30 is having a number of problems in the process of giving birth to a child. Women are most strong in deliverance at the age of 18 to 25. This has been confirmed. Anything beyond 30, and especially 40, in fact 40 is no-go area. So my sisters should look into this critically, and they should make more investigation on this so that they don't become victims of not having husband. Wallahu alam.
Thank you very much. Now, the next question is a national issue. The problem of insecurity in the country has claimed many lives, irrespective of religion or tribe. Many are accusing Muslims for this evil, that it is the Muslims that are Boko Haram throwing bomb around and the likes. So, what is your take on the gun issue as far as the security is concerned in Nigeria?
Well,
Islamic scholar.
The issue of security is very paramount to any society that want to develop. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned security, especially when he was discussing the Holy Land. He said that place is secured. And in Surah Ali Imran, Allah said, "Inna awwal baytin wudi'a lin-nasi alladhi bakkata mubarakan wa hudan lil-alamin fi ayatun bayyinatun maqam Ibrahim wa man dakhalahu kana amina." Now, the issue of security is very, very important. And the Muslim is somebody who always contribute towards having security anywhere he is, at local level and international level. I believe this insecurity in Nigeria has a number of reasons. Number one, high rate of corruption of our leaders. High rate of corruption of our leaders. Any nation that is having leaders that are corrupt is bound to have temptations and trials. And the most dangerous trial they will have is that of insecurity, which we are now witnessing. Our leaders are sincerely corrupt, except very few of them. You have a number of examples. Look at the pension of police, which has been consumed by some few Nigerians, billions. Look at this issue of fuel. We went on strike, a number of lives were lost, where some few Nigerians are the one consuming the money that is supposed to go around all Nigerians. Now, till now, the billions that has been detected is yet to be out. Well, you can go ahead mentioning a number of corruptions that involve billions. So any nation that is into that, definitely they are going to have insecurity. That's why there will be no job for youth to do. There will be no good schools. There will be no hospitals. There will be no roads. Nothing can you mention that is going okay in the nation. Now, why you have people who are youth, who are jobless? You have those who have graduated. You have those actually who have masters, PhDs. They don't have anything doing. So I believe, and I always say, until and unless when our leaders are ready not to be corrupt, we'll be having different type of insecurities. Boko Haram is the one that is being discussed today. Boko Haram are not representing Muslims, that is obvious. Of course, a number of things also has happened that is being claimed to be Boko Haram. We have seen a number of churches that actually having problems, and they say it's still Boko Haram, found to be Christians who are behind it. In a number of states, in Taraba, this is there, in Bauchi, even in Jos itself. Even here in Abuja, in the radio house, where somebody was caught with a grenade and so many other explosive, and then it was said that he's trying to bring the explosive to the ministers who are there to show them of his police brother who has retired for quite a period. Why that there is a blast of bomb there to what? It will Boko Haram, and the person is a Christian. So I'm not here to accuse Christians, never. But to tell us that the issue of Boko Haram is beyond what actually is known to be. Even though government were not even just to their leaders at the beginning, I have no apology to this. When Yusuf was caught by army, was given to police, he's supposed to be prosecuted in the court of law. Extradition killing was meted on him. And that is not just, really. And this is not in any way to support any of their ideas. But rather from there the corruption started and the killing of lives started. And some people also are using Boko Haram to go and do political acts against their fellow politicians, and all the result will be what? Boko Haram. Armed robbers too will go and still they'll say Boko Haram. So Boko Haram has taken different dimensions today in the nation. Of course, even the original Boko Haram, they are not supporting it because they are not representing the Muslim community. They are drawing the Muslim backward. But the reality is that all these are result of what? Corruption in the nation.
Thank you very much, sir. So, still on something within Nigeria, you know, another thing that is also common is the proliferation of sectarianism. This one we say I belong to a particular organization, even among the students. This one we say this one is Jama oriented, this one is large Jama and the likes. And this thing has been as a kind of hindrance toward Islamic development. Islamically, sir, what is your advice? Or can we take a side, say, okay, me, I belong to large Jama, or me, I belong to Jama oriented type, and the sectarianism should continue like that? What is your advice to remove this?
Well, that is a problem, really. Nobody can deny the fact that it's a problem, because the Ummah was one Ummah during the time of Rasulullah. Allah says in the Quran, وَأَنَّ هَذِي أُمَّتُكُمْ أُمَّةٌ وَاحِدَةٌ. This is your community, this is your generation, this is your people that are only one single entity. وَأَتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Hold fast to the rope of Allah and they are not be divided. وَأَنَّ هَذَا صِرَاطِي مُسْتَقِيمًا فَاتَّبِعُوهُ وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا السُّبُلَ فَتَفَرَّقَ بِكُمْ عَنْ سَبِيلِهِ. This is your straight path, follow it. Never you be divided. Now, a number of verses in the Quran, hadith too are there. Rasulullah has emphasized on this ummah to be one. Al-mu'min lil-mu'min kal-bunyan yashuddu ba'dahu ba'da. A mu'min and to a mu'min is just like a wall, which is actually a combination of blocks together to form one block, one standing system. So the ummah has really actually gone out of their way and they are now divided. We have a number of groups. Some even used to call others kuffar, some bid'ah, some, all these are there. What I will advise my humble self and all of us as youth, and as Muslims, not only in this country, is that we must go back to our origin of maintaining one single entity. Of course, that does not mean that you condemn all the groups we have. We have MSS, it's a group. It's a group of students who are Muslims. It doesn't have anything to do with criticizing another person. You may have a medical personnel of Muslims, medical Muslim association. You can have it. This is a profession that brings them together. After all, first they are Muslim and they are medical personnel. They are Muslim, they are students. They are Muslim, they are lawyers. They are Muslim, they are engineers. All this cannot be criticized. Of course, where some intellectuals come together also to see what they can do to Islam, and they come together and form a group, one cannot quite kick them out. But the reality is that our loyalty is supposed to be for the Muslim Ummah, not for that organization. This is where people get it wrong, actually. The Sahabas, we have Ansar, we have Muhajirun, we have Al-Sufa. These are groups. Of course, Allah gave them the name because of their activities. But their loyalty, all of them, is to Islam. So our own loyalty is to our groups. I need not to mention names, but you find out that it is your malam in that group that you always actually ask a question, and then when you give a verdict, that is final. Anybody contrary to his own, you don't even want to know whether that person is more sound than your own malam or is not. Now, this is exactly what Islam has kicked against and condemned. Meanwhile, I will advise us to seek for knowledge, because if we are sincere in seeking for knowledge, all these names actually are going to come to an end, and we are going to form one ummah as it was around the time of Rasulullah.
Thank you very much. Before we rest our case on the issue of seeking for knowledge, on campuses, someone comes to read engineering course, medicine, management science, and at the same time, seeking for Islamic knowledge is important. How can someone merge it together?
You can marry it together. There is nothing wrong in that. He should stop much of eating so that he will not sleep much. And then also he should always go into zikr. Wattaqullah wa yu'allimukum Allah. If you fear Allah, Allah will ease it for you. Knowledge is not what actually you use force to bring to yourself. No. It is a wisdom that Allah gives to you like. So the more you are actually making effort on that line, you can still make effort in this line, because you can die before you become an engineer. You cannot tell Allah because you want to become an engineer, that's why you don't know him. So the two can be combined. And you may find somebody not doing even learning the Islamic aspect, only the engineering, and he's always failing. How can you account this? So it's combinable. It's just need determination and planning. Probably the time you use in sleeping, you reduce it. The time you use in making noise and playing, you reduce it. And then you marry the two. That is nothing wrong with that.
Our remaining questions are on international issues. One of the words that's let's say three words that are very, very frequently used in some in the world today is there are women liberation or emancipation, sect, fundamentalism, which anytime people hear fundamentalism, the next thing they're expecting is Islam. The last word is extremism. And anytime we hear extremists on media, the next thing we are getting is to hear Islam. So these three words, we want to analyze it Islamically: women liberation, religious extremism, religious fundamentalism within the Islamic point of view.
Well, actually, that of women, for those who are having a little knowledge of Islam, they must know that Islam has come to emancipate a woman from the bondage of slavery during the Arab time. You know, Allah says, وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ بِأَيِّ ذَنْبٍ قُتِلَتْ. Those days they do kill their daughters alive. They don't see the relevance of a woman because she cannot fight and defend them in their wars of Jahiliyyah. So they kill them alive. When Islam came, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran condemned that attitude and see it as a criminality. And they were emancipated. And women, as far as Islam is concerned, they are equal to men in terms of spiritualism. Whosoever among you, men or female, who presented good deeds, Allah is going to pay them. Ya ayyuhan nasu, inna khalaqnakum min dhakarin wa untha, wa ja'alnakum shu'uban wa qaba'ila lita'arafu, inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. O you mankind, we have created you out of male and female. We have make you into nations and tribes, so that you know one another. The best of you is not a man or a woman. The best of you in the sight of Allah is the most conscious of you. So the equality of woman with a man in spiritual aspect, as far as Quran is concerned, is the same. And ahadith has came, a number of ahadiths where Rasulullah says, whosoever take care of his two daughters, paradise is awaiting him. There is no hadith for men. All this is to inform you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has honored a woman. But in Islam, the assignment that Allah has assigned men differs from what he has assigned women. And that is justice of Islam. The biological build of a woman differs in the way Allah built up a man. If you are to see a man with breath now coming out of pregnancy, you will be surprised, because that is not the component made of you. And also, if you see a woman with a long beard, they will be surprised at what type of woman is this, because that is not the way Allah actually built her. We differ in building, and that difference make Allah to give us different assignments. It's not that a man is better or a woman. A woman is given a very delicate, serious assignment of delivery, which a man cannot do. Even if a man wants to deliver, he cannot. I don't know today whether a woman, actually a man can be pregnant, all this thing. But the natural way, which everybody knows as ordinary person as we are not medical personnel, is that she is the one to be pregnanted and she is the one to go into labor and deliver a child. Everybody knows that this is a critical assignment, and it's only women who are doing it. Now, men are strong. They can climb on machines, they can climb on buildings, they can build bridges and roads. Difficult assignments have been given to them in construction. That's why even the white man who want to equalize them says if he's doing a very serious construction work, he will tell you that men at work. in red. And never will you see women at work if it is construction. He is telling you that this type of work is so rigor that it is only men who can do it. So even in the psyche of a common Western man too knows that it's difference. So you must be mentally affected when you are equalizing them physically. So they differ. That was where Allah assigned women with some assignment that He did not assign men. But both are actually equal before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah is just. So we should not change the assignment by telling a woman to leave her house to go and do man's work, as the Western people are doing today. Because if she come back home, nobody will do her own for her. No man will take pregnancy for her. Have you ever seen any? Okay. So you see, this is the justice of Islam. If you have a child of 10 years and a child of 3 years, they are all your children and you like them equally. But you cannot put the same load on both of them. You put a smaller load on the one that is 3, if at all. And then you put a bigger load on that is 10. But if you say, no, they are all your children, they are all equal before you, and you want to put the same load on them, then you are not just to them. That is what the Western man is saying, that we must put the same weight of load on a man and a woman, which is not just and not fair. Allah.
Fundamentalism.
Well, fundamentalism, extremism, and so many themes that today you can see them going and flowing, actually is targeted to insult and abuse a Muslim, especially a committed Muslim. A Muslim that will not drink, will not fornicate, will not steal, will not rob, he will not do a number of corruptions that are going on today. These are those who are giving the name really, and those who are saying, no, we want the real Islam back. The real Islam that was born by Rasulullah, that is the Islam we want. Well, I don't see it to be new. A number of prophets were accused during that time, if not all of them. So for anybody to be tagged a bad name today is not a new thing. It was done to Jesus ﷺ during his time by Jews. It was done to Rasulullah ﷺ during his time by the Kuffar of Makkah. It was done to a number of individuals who are meaningful and ideal in society. So if you are giving bad name, long as you are not bad, that will not disturb you. And that will not make people not to understand you, if really they want to. So people should not be disturbed when they nickname them, when they tag them, when they say you are this and you are that. Long as you are not, there is not a problem at all. I don't see it to be a problem. That's why some people today, because of that, they will tell you that those people who used to borrow, who used to wear their junior brothers' trousers, they will never tell lie. You see, it's an accusation really, but still they have said the truth. You will never lie, you will never steal. So you see it. So I believe that all these names have been there, and no amount of actually preaching that can change. It can change from one name to another, but definitely there will be name given. So I am appealing to brothers and sisters not to mind actually these names, but they should try as much as possible to make sure they are doing good. They don't go beyond the limit of Sharia, because of course there are those who actually are going beyond the limitations of Sharia in the name of actually trying to copy Rasulullah's sins. That will not be welcome. Allah.
Sir, also on the international note is that for the past few years, the recent Arab Spring or uprising has started changing the face of leadership in the Arab world. And one of such changes is the emergence of Dr. Muhammad Morsi as the new Egyptian president. Some people believe that, with the Muhammad Morsi and with his affiliation to Muslim Brotherhood, this is another Islamic caliphate. Why do some people they still believe so far he emerged as a democratic leader? We should not be expecting anything good from him. There are details still remain. So what is your own view on his emergence and the future of Islam in the Arab world and the world in general?
Well, the reality is that Arab leaders, not all of them, almost all of them, have left the pattern of the teaching of Islam as regard to politics. They incline to their own actually desires. There is no need of mentioning them, almost all of them. But with Allah's assistance, things are changing to better. Not to the best, but to better. Better than what actually are witnessing. If we to take a case study of Dr. Muhammad Musi, for instance, is a brother. He wants Quran to be his constitution, there is no doubt about it. That is the training he received in Ikhwan. That is the truth. But of course, it was not the pattern and the channel he follows. He followed the pattern of democracy. And democracy is the government of the people, for the people, by the people. What they want is what you do. And in Khilafah, that is the Sharia system of governance, is not what you do, it's what Allah says you should do. Whether people want it. So you can see a clear difference between democracy and Shura of Sharia. Of course, some are having misconception of making the two to be the same. That even in Sharia there is Shura. Shura differs from democracy. Shura is wa amruhum shura bainahum. It's why you gather those who actually are enlightened, those who are scholars, those who are God conscious, those who are pious. Then they will sit and decide based on the dictate of the Quran and the Sunnah for the Ummah. That is Shura. You don't call a criminal, you don't call a fornicator, you don't call a drunkard to be in the Shura. It is people actually who are really committed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now in democracy is you just call any crowd. That crowd decide what to be done. So you can see that is two very big difference between the two. Of course, now as we are going, we have lost hope of the real pattern that was used by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which was used also in Nigeria by Usman bin Fodio, by achieving Sharia in most part of Nigeria, especially in northern part of this country and some part of West Africa. And this is 2 centuries ago that the colonial masters used weapon to dismantle the Sharia and plant their own kufr system of governance, which we are still benefiting from today. Now, Musi is a brother. He went through democracy and he met the leader of Egypt today. I will not support those who are saying that there will be no difference. There will be difference. Because there are some things that even democracy accepted and Islam already has confirmed it, that even the Democrats are not doing. For instance, in the democratical system of governance is that you must be just. You don't steal. You don't go into corruption. Of course, in Nigeria they are not doing that. They are into corruption. So Musi now, by making sure there is no corruption in Egypt, he has done part of Sharia, which also has actually complied with the dictates and the rules of democracy. He will make Misra, well, of course, it can be overnight. He can make Egypt to be zero corrupt nation, and nobody can fight him on that, because that is also what the democratical government are calling for. Of course, they are not doing it. They are also calling for justice in their own language. That may differ a little from what Islam is saying. So he may use his influence and achieve part of what he can do. And he can empower the Muslim Ummah along that direction. He can also give a way for da'wah of understanding the real Islam, which was not there during Mubarak. La barakallahu fi. You see it. Now, brothers who want to do Sunnah, whom actually are jailed during Mubarak and the regimes before Mubarak, now they will be given their ways. You can establish your Sunnah. There was a time, it has come a time in Egypt that if you are a youth and you leave your beards, just leaving your beards is an act of criminality. So now all this will not be there in Egypt, isn't it? So there is really a difference. I cannot call him Khilafah, but I can call him a conducive environment for brothers to start thinking of how to go about the Khilafah, which was not there before. So Musi has done well, and he has started well, and is improving, and there is change in Misra today, whether people accept or they refuse. So I will say that Musi is a starting point of change in Egypt, and I'm telling you, if Egypt is changed, all other Arab world are going to be affected, and by extension, other African countries, and by extension, the whole world at large.
Yeah. Finally, sir, the present issue on the film that was released by an American Jew on the internet, desecrating the personality of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and Islam in general. So there has been a protest in the Arabian country that has led to the killing of American ambassador to Libya and 4 other officials. So to some, Muslims, they are starting again. Who are the Muslims to be defending the Prophet of Allah? While to some, that is the exact way of fighting against the democracy, because it's one of the way of inciting the anger of the Muslim. Looking at the two stands now, is it wrong for the Muslim to protest in such thing, we fold our hand and we look for Allah to take charge of everything? Or what is the Islamic ruling concerning that thing? Someone depicting the image of Prophet of Islam.
Well, we give thanks to Allah that we are Muslims, and let non-Muslims know, whether in Nigeria or in any part of the world, that a Muslim will continue to love Rasulullah until death. Even a drunkard Muslim, even a corrupt Muslim, will not allow that personality actually of Rasulullah to be tampered with and his silence. And I believe it's a calculative measure by the conspiracy of the world kufr to allow such to happen, because that film has no benefit. If somebody is an armed robber, what he collects from the robbery, he will enjoy it. If one is a fornicator, what he actually enjoys during fornication, he will experience it. If whatsoever type of crime, you have the result of what you want to benefit from. There is no any benefit from this film except only to put the whole world in tension. So I believe if the Americans are sincere, if they are sincere, they are the ones now to curtail any act of this nature. Because if you say that the speech of right and speech of action, that speech should be limited to your own right. You shouldn't go and encroach another person's right. So I say it's calculated because they know Rasulullah is loved by Muslims. And this is not the first time. Salman Rushdi's case is not far from us. They are still alive. Denmark issue was not far from us. And there is reaction. And reaction will continue. Even tomorrow, if another person do, reaction will continue. Now, even if the superpower of the world, which is America, as they are seeing, hegemony, they use what they have to actually feel that they are controlling the globe. Now, even if they know they can silence some scholars because of power, or they can silence some by bribing them, there are millions of Muslims that they cannot silence and they cannot bribe. And only Allah knows what is going to be happening if this thing should continue. So it is advisable for non-Muslims to know that this personality is a personality Muslim can never compromise being silenced if tampered with. They cannot. I am not here to judge the dimension it will take. It can take a more dangerous dimension than what we are witnessing. So the only way out is that I will advise all leaders of the world to enact laws that prophets that are mentioned in the Quran and prophets that are mentioned in the Bible, they should make sure that people doesn't tamper with their own in any way. That will give them some relative of peace. But where they say is freedom, then they will see freedom too. What they have seen today is part of the freedom. So one should never say more than this. And there is no guarantee if anybody try it again, he's going to see more dangerous than this. This is reality. You don't need to quote any verse of the Quran. And you cannot bribe all Muslims. You can only have few to bribe. And you can frighten few. And you can jail few. But we are in billions now, not in millions. So I will advise all government, including Nigerian government, that enact a law that these personals should not be tampered with, whether in drama, whether in speech, whether in cassette, whether in talk. Because if you dare do that, we will handle you. Government should handle you before the generality of Muslims handling the matter. So I don't see it as violence in our own case. I see it as a positive reaction. Some of the reaction may be beyond the limit, some may be under, some may be moderate, some may be even wrong. For those who are silent, it's wrong for you to be silent. May Allah save us.
We are very, very grateful, sir. I know what you have done for giving us the time. What is your advice for we, the Muslim youth of this age, facing all these challenges, starting from the national level and international level, and as well as for the Islamic preachers? Well,
challenges are numerous, and they will continue to be there. They will never end. The only thing is that our youth should get ready to have a balanced education. They should have the knowledge of the Quran and the knowledge of the Sunnah and the Seerah and they should professionalize themselves. If you want to be a medical doctor, make sure you are par excellence in that. If you want to be a lawyer, make sure you are par excellence. If you want to be a medical doctor or want to be a veterinary, or whatsoever you want to be, make sure you are par excellence, because we are the best community ever is for humanity, and you cannot be the best when you don't even know your religion. You cannot be the best when you cannot give solution to problems of humanity. Now today we are not the best in so many fields. In aircraft, you find us to be parasites. In fact, even in jets, even if you want to go into war, you don't have anything except what they have used. So we should try to be the best in our fields, and we should combine the two education. The Western education so claim, and our own education. Kuntum khayra ummah. You are the best community. You can't be the best when you don't have the best. So this is my advice to youth. You have enough time to be the best in the field of education and learning, and that actually will promote Islam and will make Islam to be the best, inshallah. No problem.